Let's get you another perspective on what can travelers really do right now. The advocate and founder of Air Passenger Rights, Gabor Lukacs, joins us now. Good afternoon and thanks for your time.
Good afternoon. Great to be with you.
So let's talk about what does the strike notice really mean for passengers with travel booked over the next few days?
I recommend passengers to just stay put. Wait until your flight is cancelled because then you actually have meaningful rights. Right now, if you decide to cancel your flight or change your flight, you are at WestJet's mercy. They are not going to give you a refund in cash. They're going to give you perhaps vouchers. They are going to offer you perhaps some alternatives, but not on competitor airlines. Once they cancel your flight, you have far more rights. You can choose a refund, although I recommend not accepting a refund for the reason that that voids their obligation to give you alternate transportation. But then you can insist, if they cancel, you can insist on the airline rebooking you on a competitor airline. They have to provide you meals and accommodation and a lump sum $1,000 compensation, up to $1,000, if we are talking about cancellation that occurs before actually the strike began.
So you're saying right now the best way to look at this situation is hold tight. Let's see what happens over the next few days. Of course, the timeline is Sunday, but take no action till the airline communicates something to you about what they plan to do.
That's right, and not more than planning, until the airline actually tells you your flight has been canceled. Once that communication happens, that triggers the right to actual alternate transportation, including on a competitor, meals, accommodation, and cash compensation. No such rights exist before that communication had happened. And if WestJet fails then to rebook you, fails to provide those, then you can go and get those, maybe buy yourself a ticket on a competitor airline, and then you can hold WestJet accountable for it and make them pay for it.
Okay.
You should not jump the gun.
Gabor, here's the thing. There are some people who would have had, not just a flight on WestJet, but some other connecting flights or some other kind of cruises or other reservations beyond their destinations. What happens with that part of their vacation if that's getting impacted because of WestJet?
If you're traveling internationally, then you have additional protections under the Montreal Convention, which is an international treaty on the rights of passengers and airlines' obligations that has the force of law in Canada. And WestJet will be liable for passengers' meals, accommodation, lost wages, and even lost prepaid activities. So say you had a concert, a non-refundable concert ticket at the destination, that you missed the concert as a result, they will have to pay you for that concert ticket. If you miss a cruise, they have to pay for the cruise. If you have to catch up with your cruise, they have to pay for it. Now, they may not voluntarily pay for it, mind you, and that's something very important to bear in mind. You may have to fight for your rights. But this type of issues that we are seeing year after year, with strikes happening and the airlines disregarding your rights as a passenger, will keep happening until such time as we Canadian passengers are willing to fight for our rights, and if necessary, even take the airline to small claims court.
Okay, let's just take a moment and talk about the bigger picture here with the aviation industry and what's happening with airlines here in Canada. We saw a major disruption last year where Air Canada was concerned, and then the government had to intervene with that situation of Air Canada. Here we are talking about another disruption. Your take on, the big picture when it comes to the aviation sector here in Canada?
Well, we know last year that the government's intervention or attempted intervention was not quite successful with the Air Canada strike because employees rightfully ignored any kind of attempt to force them to work when they were actually entitled to strike. I don't think that it would be any different, at least I hope it wouldn't be any different this year with WestJet. If the government tried to legislate back or force back the employees to work, I hope that they are going to have the courage and the perseverance to do the same thing as Air Canada employees did. It's one thing that inconveniences passengers, but it has to be clear that the right to strike is a fundamental, constitutionally protected right, and every employee in every sector other than essential workers have the right to exercise those rights.
Okay, advocate and founder of Air Passenger Rights, Gabor Lukacs, appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.